something that came up in the break, which I just wanted to talk about, is just related to this first person, second person, third person perspectives. The sort of process of learning all of this stuff goes from third person to second person to first person. So the third person sense is you learn about this in a theoretical way. You might read a book about it, or go to some lessons, go to hear someone talk about it, watch some videos. Yeah, those are all third person it stuff. They're out there in the objective world. Then you might seek out somebody who knows more about this stuff than you do, and then have a conversation with them or spend time with them. Then you're in a second person relationship with this whole meditation stuff, or waking up, realization, all those kind of things. And then the next step is that you actually realize that as you're in your own direct experience. So as an I, your actual sense of identity becomes that. And that's the one. So it goes from 3, 2, 1. And so, what I'm trying to suggest here is that it's a good thing to always keep this 3, 2, 1 process going, because I just make some caricatures of people that are not doing the full 3, 2, 1 thing. So like an academic that studies religions or meditation and stuff their whole life in a third person sense. They read it, they read all the books on it and all of that kind of stuff. And they might have talked to people about it, but they've never had that first person direct experience of actually waking up to this as their own, the truth of their own mind or identity. Or the other caricature I was thinking of is sometimes someone might have a powerful first person experience of an awakening or something, and then they feel they don't need other people or to learn anything else, so they're just sort of stuck in this first person perspective, and they're not actually, they think they don't need to find people that, there's always somebody who knows more than you do about anything at any point in time. You know, there's how many billion people there are on the planet. It's, you know, the chances of you being the wisest person in the world are 8 billion to 1 or whatever it is. So yeah, and there's always more to learn. You know, so does that make sense? How for a complete practice, this have 3, 2, 1. It's almost like it's how you metabolize or digest knowledge and experience. And it keeps it going. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. And also different approaches or different religious traditions and things tend to major in one of those perspectives. So the scientific tradition is very focused on the third person world, the world of objects and its and how things fit together and work, and moon landings and all those kind of things. Christianity is very strong on a second person practice where you have a personal relationship with Jesus or God or Mary. And Hinduism, for example, is very strong on the first person perspective of waking up to states of mind and in your own direct experience. Okay, so breathing. This is the most common type of meditation you'll come across, and in our 3, 2, 1 context, this is a third person practice. This is experiencing what your body feels like when it is breathing, and So what the first type of meditation we are doing is called meditation without an object. So you're not actually meditating on any specific object. You're actually trying to get back into the place where there are no objects, just pure subjectivity. That gives you a kind of a panoramic awareness. What we're going to do now is meditating on an object, which is your breath. So in the traditional context, people focus on their breath, they focus on mantras. So mantras are a little phrase. So a common one would be Om Mani Padme Hum, or in Tibetan they say Om Mani Padme Hum, which is a common mantra. And you might just say that silently, over and over again. Or have you ever heard of Transcendental Meditation, TM?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that you have a mantra that you repeat over and over again, and it's the object of your meditation, and you're basically binding your mind to that object to make your mind quieter, basically. You're focusing, this is all about focusing concentration. And sometimes people, they look at a candle, that's another common one. And so as your mind wanders off the object, you bring it back to the object. So what we're going to do is focus on our breathing. So we're going to be aware of our breath. And what you'll find is that you're focusing on your breathing, and then a millisecond goes past, and you're thinking about your dog or something, and then you realise, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not actually here in this present moment, I'm in the woods walking my dog. And then you come back to your breathing again, and then after 2 milliseconds maybe, you'll start thinking about your trip to Monkey World the other day or whatever, and then you realise that again you've woken up. It's a waking up process. Okay, you've woken up. I'm off away with the fairies. I just want to say there's nothing wrong with going away with the fairies, and in fact the next practice we're going to look at is all about going away with the fairies. Okay, so each one of these, there's specific skills we're developing. Yeah. But the reason why we did the first meditation practice we did first is that is the context within which to do all of the other meditation practices. So if you sit down and as your personality try and concentrate on your breathing for an hour, it is excruciatingly boring. So this quite often, a common scenario would be someone wants to learn about meditation. They learn that this would be the first one that people tend to learn about, following your breath. They start doing it, and after a while they're just like, this is just awful. I'm so bored, I can't do it. It's literally like a millisecond every time, and I'm daydreaming about so and so. I'm not doing this right. Yeah, and people get disheartened, and they think, well, the meditation is rubbish, I can't do it, and then they stop doing it. Yeah. Does that sound? If anyone had that experience themselves or met people that have done it? When I first started meditating, that was my experience, doing a lot of this, following the breathing. So the reason why we did the first bit was that as awareness, so the part of you, the ground of your own being, this naked, transparent clarity, can just be aware and notice your breathing all day. It's done it your whole life without any motivation to do, not do it, but just get bored or anything like that. So this part of you is just effortlessly present to whatever's happening in this moment. So if you know that, then practice becomes a lot easier, because you'll be focused on your breathing, you'll start daydreaming about something, you might wake up, feel a little bit annoyed with yourself, start focusing back on the breathing, and then before long you'll wander off again. And one of the best analogies I've heard is it's like a baby just crawling off, and you just, as a parent, you just pick it up, you just bring it back, and it's crawling off somewhere, and you just, in that way that's loving and caring, not kind of like, oh, for God's sake, not again, and if you're just meditating from the perspective of your personality, you might end up getting really frustrated and annoyed and angry with yourself and all that kind of stuff. But if you actually know this other part of yourself that's totally okay with what's happening, then it's much easier to come back every time to the object of your meditation without it being distressing. Okay? So what I recommend is, don't try and do anything funny with your breathing. Just breathe totally naturally. And I think different traditions say focus on different parts of your body for breathing. I think my own personal view is that where you want to focus on kind of changes every time. So sometimes I might feel like I'm breathing with my whole body. Or sometimes I might feel my attention kind of goes to my abdomen, or sometimes in my nostrils. I think everyone will probably find there's a particular, maybe your throat, a particular part of your body that draws your attention there for the breathing. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll do 20 minutes of this, and then we'll do a Q&A afterwards. Does that sound all right? Yeah. 20 minutes. So get into a good posture, eyes open, eyes closed, whatever you want to do. Just be aware of your breathing, and as your mind wanders off, as it will do, everybody's mind is going to be wandering off. You just bring it back to your breathing. Bring it back to your breathing.